I read today that slow motion was invented in 1904. Last week, and I came to the conclusion that everything's better in slow motion, pretty much. Especially
when
baseball.
you do it at 120 frames per second, everything looks really, really, really good.
Like, look at Chuck. Look at the purple. Look at how cool he looks. And look at Parra admiring his home run that went oppo last night.
Well, that was a special homer, and I really like the pose right there. That's the statue right there, right?
Is that not awesome?
Is that not a statue?
I love that. I love Parra. He's been hot. There he is. Home run last night. He's always got a smile on his face. And Trevor Story, back-to-back games with a couple of hits. That hadn't happened since June 18th and 20th, the last time the Rockies won 2 straight. The Rocks pregame report is brought to you by Steel. Corey Sullivan is back in the house. It's the first time you get to say that we are on
AT&T Sportsnet. First time.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Nicely done. Rockies had a big day offensively in New York. They fly back, and yesterday they kind of carried that through to get their 55th win.
Well, I think you can look at how they got the tone set, and that was by Charlie Blackmon hitting a 450-foot bomb off of the third deck. But again, these guys were in a little bit of a lull offensively. You talked about the New York series, the last game there. That was really important. Obviously, losing the first 2 games coming out of the break, they needed to find a way to settle down. They did so by having some really quality at-bats.
I made a mistake. I said 55th win. It's their 54th win last night. Just to put things in perspective, as we like to do, if the Rockies win tonight, it'll be their 55th win. Corey, appease me here. Team got their 55th win the last 5 years chronologically backwards. So last year first, August 6th, September the 3rd, September the 1st, August 11th, September the 2nd. You see where I'm going?
Yeah, that's steady improvement. Obviously, that's important, but really the only game that matters is tonight.
It is tonight's game that matters. Let's go back to last night. Call it small ball. I'm going to call it maybe multifaceted in terms of what the offense was able to achieve against the Padres.
Yeah, they did it a little bit differently. They obviously hit a couple of home runs that we've mentioned, but they were very, very patient at the plate. You talk about taking advantage of mistakes. When Perdomo's going to give you guys on base, you've then got to capitalize with runners in scoring position. I think Trevor Story did a great job shortening up, using the big part of the field. Obviously, German Marquez gets a huge hit. They were 4 for 11 with runners in scoring position. But this is the approach that these guys had for the big 2 months when they were really, really hot. If they can continue those quality at-bats, I expect this team to make a serious run here late in the season. They need to continue it because this lineup is just too good not to do this.
Got to pitch, got to play defense, and the Rocks did that last night. Let's get you to the hill. German Marquez gets into the 7th inning, ties his career high, 9 Ks. Second time he's done that against San Diego.
And him and manager Bud Black have always talked about how important it is for his fastball command. First 3 innings, he didn't really have it. He said so after the game. After that, he settled right down, was able to throw it anywhere he wanted. His curveball is absolutely always there, but the big key in yesterday's performance, I think, was his changeup. It was the best one that he's demonstrated at the major league level. It helped aid him in getting those 9 strikeouts. He elevated the fastball when he wanted to, but most importantly to right-handed hitters, he was able to locate that down and away fastball. When you're throwing as hard as he does, there's not a lot they can do. Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do, at a weak ground ball? So what?
It, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So what?
Yeah. And we said, guys get hits, so what? Don't walk them and induce that kind of weak contact. Another Rockies rookie righty is on the hill tonight, and it's a familiar face. Antonio Senzatella is back with the club, recalled from AAA Albuquerque. Team had the option, Raimel Tapia. It was a tough conversation. You could tell just from talking to Buddy Black today about Tapia, who did his thing, but he's happy to have Senzatella back here in the starting rotation.
He feels as though he belongs here, which is great. I love the confidence. We expect him to pitch well. He's got 9 wins in the big leagues, as a rookie. So hope he gets 10.
So, Corey, they've been kind of working this, massaging the rookies. He last started on June 22nd, pitched in relief, which was interesting. Buddy said to keep him current, and then he went to Albuquerque briefly.
Well, you never want to get him stagnant, especially a guy who's played such an important part early in the season, but we're talking about a guy who only threw 34 2/3 innings last year. That's very limited. He's going to get stretched out to 100, 150 innings, obviously, but for him, I think this is a really important time because of the rest. His velo was starting to dip a little bit in his performance. When he went out to the pen, it rose about 1.5 miles, which is important because you need him to have that power when he uses that fastball as much as he does. But I think one of the things that he said about pitching in the bullpen I really, really like. He said, it taught me a different perspective. It taught me how to go out there and be a little bit more aggressive and not try and go out there and waste pitches.
Really?
I can go out there and attack the hitter and get him out quicker.
All right, so how does that translate here at home on the Hill Coors Field? I mean, we always talk about you got to pitch at home at 20th and Blake.
Well, again, he's one of those guys that features that fastball. He throws it 70% of the time. And when you're going to throw a fastball that often, you've got to be able to locate it. It's one of the things that Bud Black has harped on with these young guys. You've got to be able to locate it so that you can get to your secondary pitches. Ironically, the two pitches you just saw there were his changeup and his slider. The key to that is locating the fastball, because you want the hitters to go up there and think, what if he's going to throw me a slider? What if he's going to throw me a changeup? Because then you can blow that 95-mile-an-hour fastball by them, especially down in the zone here at Coors Field. Because typically, when he made his mistakes against the Arizona Diamondbacks his last start, everything was elevated in the zone.
Buddy Black said something interesting too, and it's just a basic cliche comment. Hey, where would you rather pitch, in the big leagues or in the minors?
Yeah.
So Antonio Senzatella is back in the big leagues, and he's going against the San Diego Padres. Let's show you the Padres lineup. And it looks pretty familiar to last night. Torrens is going to be behind the plate, so a different catcher. You see the numbers for Will Myers. He is hitting .359 against the Rocks this year, even though he struck out 4 times last night. Against the rest of baseball, he's hitting .237.
Matt Kemp 2.0.
Right?
Yeah.
Will Myers. He did strike out 4 times last night. I didn't think I'd see that from Will Myers. Rockies fans, be sure to check out Rock's Double Play 1 hour before every Rockies game. What we do is replay the previous Rocks game in just 30 minutes. Catch Rockies Double Play an hour before the game on your home for the Rockies, AT&T Sportsnet. We will come back on the Rockies pregame report. Oh, it's poetry in motion. It's art. It's magic. It's a dance. It's Nolan Arenado playing defense.
The Rockies pregame report is brought to you by Steel. Find the new Steel Lightning Battery System at a Steel dealer near you. Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call Law Tigers, Rocky Mountain Motorcycle Lawyers. And by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world.
You are watching the Rockies pregame report, brought to you by Steel. Rock's got this homestand off in victorious fashion with a win. This is game number 96 on the season. 2nd of 3 against the Padres, and there is number 28 in the cages, Nolan Arenado. Rocks are 53-39 when he starts. Now, I'm going to get ahead of myself. He is not starting tonight, but that said, I want to go back to last night and show you, Corey, 3 plays. We're going to go 3rd inning, then a couple in the 7th.
All right. So I thought of something just now that we were just talking about. I think Nolan Arenado sees the game defensively in slow motion, and I really do mean that, because we talk about him and his footwork and everything and his athleticism, but the truth of the matter is Nolan's field of vision when it comes to defense is far and above anyone else I've ever seen. He's got something that I like to call pre-pitch preparation, where he will literally go through every single possible outcome that can happen on a play defensively and be prepared for it, because he's already done it in his mind. He's one of those unique guys who sees the game so differently. Like, we're trying to sit here and understand how he does it. We just need to realize that there's nobody who can do it like him.
Well, let me bring in Spilly, because Ryan Spielborgs and I were talking about this last night, where we even had a highlight, Spilly, at the end. We were like, I don't know what else to say, so let's just watch and admire, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're about to do. We ran out of adjectives. We ran out of superlatives. Last night, top of the 3rd inning, he makes his play to his left. It was a double play to end the inning. Then the Rockies come back and score 5. And we were just marveling. And I said, he looks like he's a dancer. He looks like he's a ballet dancer. And so we're going to put some of his highlights to some classic music and just stop talking. Poetry in motion. Nolan Arenado, look at the numbers where he ranks first in all of baseball. No surprise here. Fielding percentage the best. It took him almost 2 months until he finally made his first error, the amount of chances. First in the National League, second in Major League Baseball. Double plays. There's a reason why the Rockies lead all of baseball in double plays. So we did. We asked the teammates, does it look like Nolan's dancing on the field?
He plays, with freeness, and he has fun, and I think that's how you need to play this game.
And every time you watch the guy make a play, it's just like calculated in an instant, and he knows exactly what to do.
Scorched to his left side, and he just knows where to put his glove at, and it ends up in there. It's incredible.
He's really special over there, and sometimes it looks like art, pretty much.
Looks like art. I mean, you look at teammates. It was like when you watch the home run derby. Guys had their face like this, right? Same with Major League Baseball players. When you're watching Nolan Arenado, people just cannot believe it. And so just watching it, not talking about it, listening to music, pretty sweet. So I'm going to toss it back to you guys the way Nolan does.
Oh boy. Now I'm speechless.
Yeah, he's art. The problem is, well, it's not a problem, but he's not playing tonight. He's not in the lineup. Alexi Amarista is going to get the start at third. Thoughts on Amarista playing the hot corner?
Well, I think he's definitely an adequate defender. I think he's an above-average defender. I think that's one of his benefits. But when you're going to remove a piece like Nolan Arenado, who is the best defensive player in baseball and arguably in history, there's going to be some kind of impact. I don't know how quantifiable it is. I don't know if you could say it's one play one way or one play the other, but there's no question there's a little bit of an impact. Trevor's going to have to cover a little bit more ground. Yeah. Alexi may have to play a little deeper. Things like that are just little nuances that may have a little impact or a little effect.
The last time Nolan didn't get a start, it was July the 6th. The Rockies lost to Cincinnati. Before that, he came into a game late on June the 11th. So kind of getting a day off, day game tomorrow, and then another off day. You got to follow us on social media. We are everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, ATT Sportsnet. RM is where you go. That's the new handle that we have. Nolan can dance. Spilly
cannot. No, he does spin a lot when he dances. That's like his thing.
It's slow motion. Love the auxiliary scoreboard. Love the right field wall. Great touch here at Coors Field. Love seeing that. I also love watching Mark Reynolds play first base, especially this season for the Rockies. It was 5.5 months ago, and Mark Reynolds didn't have a contract. He signed with the Rockies on February the 1st and was almost an all-star this season. Mark Reynolds signed a minor league contract in February to return to the Colorado Rockies. At that time, it seemed like a strange move. After all, he was a 10-year veteran, coming off a season where he posted his highest career batting average. And the Rockies had just inked a deal with a new player to take over Mark's first base job. But Reynolds saw something in the 2016 Rockies that made him want to return to the purple pinstripes.
Last year I knew this team was special. This year our younger pitching has stepped up. They've done an unbelievable job. Our offense is up and down right now, but it has the potential to be great. Like I said, I saw something special in this team last year, and I wanted to come back and be a part of it this year. Originally it was going to be a lesser role, but still I felt like I could help this team.
Just 6 weeks after signing that minor league deal, Reynolds made the big league team. Ian Desmond was sidelined with a broken hand, and Reynolds started the 2017 season back at first base. He made an impact immediately.
Oh, what a grab by Mark Reynolds! This ball is hit to pretty deep left field. Gone! Two-run home run, Mark Reynolds.
The 33-year-old has already hit more home runs and knocked in more this year than his successful 2016 season. But it's his defense that has been turning heads and gaining the praise of his teammates.
I think he's the most underrated, in the game, in my opinion. He makes incredible plays over there. He helps us out a lot. The plays that Nolan and DJ and myself make, I think half of them aren't, made unless Mark's over there picking them.
He's one of the better first basemen I've ever had. I've had some good ones with Todd, Morneau. He's been great on both sides of the ball. We're happy to be on our team. It's funny because spring training we didn't, know if he was going to make the team, and now he's borderline all-star.
And this ball poked to center field. It's going to drop. Rockies take the lead.
Mark knows that despite the uncertainty he faced during the offseason, he made the right decision to return to the Rockies.
How fortunate and blessed I've been to not only get some playing time, but to be able to produce.
Mark Reynolds gets a green light, and it is safe at the plate. Another great slide by Reynolds.
No one wants to sit on the bench, which is something that I had signed here to do. But fortunately I was able to take advantage of the opportunities and and go out and play solid ball.
This ball is hit well to left center field. This is going to carry out. Another home run for Mark Reynolds.
We had a be like Mark first half. Corey, you saw Reynolds when he made his debut in 07 when you were with the Rocks here. Yep. You guys are going to the World Series. You've seen him progress to this point in his career.
And, I think he's having arguably his career year. If we look to quantify everything in baseball, and whether you talk about his 288 batting averages, 19 homers, to me the numbers that stand out are the 892 OPS, which is a career high, the 117 OPS plus, which means he's played 17% better than the league, but the on-base percentage, that's where he's really, really grown. He has an on-base percentage of almost 380. It's funny, right there, he referred to the fact that this team had something special, and I wrote something down. I don't know if you can quantify what Mark Reynolds has meant to this team in that clubhouse. He brings and adds to that special factor to this team. And that's something that is very, very unique. For him to see it as a veteran a year ago and then come back and try and contribute, that's pretty special.
31 active players have played more games than Mark Reynolds in baseball today. I mean, to me, that says it all. He's a baseball player. He's got that legacy now.
He does have that legacy, and he also is one of the, what was he, in the top 200 of career home runs?
Yeah.
That's absolutely ridiculous. Right. You're talking about longevity and talent that is very special, and he's getting better as he gets older.
Hitting fourth, cleanup today, and playing first base. It's a Tuesday. It's Toyota Talk Takeover on Twitter at AT&T Sportsnet RM. Our guest tonight is Ian Desmond. We got some of your questions. He's answered them. You'll hear that during the game. Toyota Talk Takeover tonight. It's going to be fun. We'll come back on the Rockies pregame report. That guy that plays shortstop, who can play D, his bat's starting to come alive too. Charlie Blackmon has his pregame ritual, and he's not going to detour from it the way things have been going for Chuck this year. We're getting you ready for the Padres and the Rockies, game 2 of 3. You know what Corey's thinking about it? Trevor Story, I think it was July 30th, so coming up on a year last year when he got injured and his season was cut short. This year's been a little bit of a different season for Story, but something seems to be different in these 4 games since the All-Star break.
Yeah, and we talk about it all the time. Where you slow things down, it really does benefit you. And that's the steel power drive of the game. Trevor Story's performance since coming back off those 4 days rest has really been impressive. 971 OPS since the All-Star break. But to me, what it is, he worked with Jeff Salazar, he worked with Dwayne Espy on really slowing his hands down, almost to be a little bit deliberate, shorten up his swing, and what it does is it opens up the rest of the field. We talked a lot about how going the other way is important, right?
Yeah.
Singles, using the big part of the field. Well, what comes next after those things is driving the baseball. That's where that 971 OPS is coming from. He's starting to drive the baseball. The next things you will see are the homers.
They just come.
Those start to flow right after that. The floodgates start opening, and we'll see the guy that we got to see at the beginning of the season last year.
Let's hear you, Buddy Black's Rockies lineup for this game. The second, as I said, of 3 against San Diego. Charlie, you see some numbers on DJ. Gerardo Parra is in left and hitting third. Mark Reynolds, as I mentioned, cleanup. Carr goes back and right. Story at short. Then it's Amarista playing third for Nolan. Tony Walters behind the plate with Senzatella back on the hill for the first time since June 22nd. What are we rocking tonight for the Rocks to get a series win? We got that for you next. Beautiful Coors Field as the Rockies pregame report continues. Rocks and the Padres on this Tuesday night. I told you he wouldn't deviate from his routine, his stretching.
That looks like it really, really, really hurts.
Chuck does some nasty stretches to get ready. All right, we're AT&T Sportsnet now, so what we do every game is what we're rocking for the Rocks. All right, you good to go here?
Yeah, I'm good to go. I'll follow your lead.
Corey's back in the mix. First thing we're rocking. How about a righteous return to the bump, to the hill, to the mound for the righty Antonio Senzatella? 2-0 this year against San Diego. 5 quality starts at home. And as Buddy Black said, you know what? When you get back to the big leagues, you want to stay in the big leagues.
That's a fact. What I'm rocking is going, gone. When the Rocks hit a homer, 47-12. 2 or more, 31-3.
Yikes.
Simple formula. Long ball pays off. And when they hit them, they win, just like last night with Charlie Blackmon and Gerardo Parra going oppo. They need the long ball.
Hit another one, number 8. Finally, you got to take the series. Rockies 31st series of the year. They're 17-9-4 in series, 8-3-2 at home. Jim Tracy always used to say, if you win the series, Mark, you win a lot of games. Hopefully they can win another series here tonight and get it from San Diego. Corey, good to have you back.
Good to be back.
Back from the links in Scotland. We go up to the booth and bring in Drew Goodman and Jeff Houston. Guys.
Corey, what was your low round?
77.
Where?
It was at the new course in St. Andrews.
Did you finish all 18?
I did finish all 18, yes.
Nice job.
Thank you.
We're very proud of you.
Welcome back.
Thank you, guys.
Did you bring a pint back for your friends on the crew?
I think, unfortunately, my brother and I might have taken care of all of it.
Self-centered of you. Good to see you, Corey.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, bud. Good to see you as well, Mark.
Yeah.
I know you weren't playing golf. You were working hard like all of us were while Corey was gallivanting around Europe.
That's right.
We have a roster move today because Senzatella was actually down. He had to get active.
Well, and it's one of those cases where it's not because somebody did something bad. It was just happened to be a roster move and a roster number because you had to do something when you activated Antonio, and it comes down to Raimel Tapia going down 314, 2 home runs, 9 RBIs. Got off to a little bit of a slow start, but then he helped win a lot of ball games.
He's been great. He will be back.
Oh,
He's a Rocky, as Buddy Black likes to say, and he'll be in the middle of things. Senzatella has really had a month off from starting, and he had such a fabulous start. He's got 9 victories. His last time out, it looked like he kind of hit a roadblock. He gave up a bunch of runs. The Rockies backed off. He went to the bullpen for 3. Stretched out a little bit in AAA.
Yeah, I think that was a good move because he was June 22nd to start against Arizona, where he gave up 9 runs on 8 hits. It looked like he kind of fatigued, so you back off and put him in the bullpen for 3 appearances. Then send him down to AAA, and he just made the 1 start down in Albuquerque, a little over 3 innings, 60 pitches. So tonight it's not going to be a problem really, as far as he can only go 75. He'll go a little bit more than that. But I think for Antonio, he got a chance to step back from the game and then watch it from a different angle.
Yeah, he has special talent.
Yeah.
And for more on his story and the other young starters in this Rockies rotation, one of the big surprises so far in Major League Baseball, we check in with Ryan Spilborn. Spilly.
Yeah, it's been a very good story for the Rockies and the starting pitchers. And when you look at a guy like Antonio Senzatella, the Rockies have to be creative. They haven't used the 10-day disable list like other organizations, Dodgers. So they've used guys by putting them into the bullpen. Getting Senzatella back tonight is important, so we asked Bud Black about it.
The first part of February, late January, this guy was trying to make our team, and there was a lot of intensity pitching with him and Kyle and Marquez and Hoffman and Castellani and all these young guys who came to Scottsdale. I think it just caught up with him a little bit. So this has been a nice little break for him. But man, he's eager. He's excited to be back with this group of players. He feels as though he belongs here, which is great. I love the confidence. We expect him to pitch well. He's got 9 wins in the big leagues, as a rookie. So hope he gets 10.
Well, we're hoping to see number 10 tonight, but more importantly, this is something the Rockies have been doing. We've seen the young starters go to the bullpen, then from the bullpen back into the starting rotation. We will see that as well with Kyle Freeland. He's in the bullpen tonight, but he's expected to throw on Sunday. Guys?
Yeah, the last time we saw him in the bullpen, he threw 3 shutout innings, didn't give up a hit. He's not giving up any hits lately. He's stingy wherever you put him. Senzatella has been really, really good. He's prideful. He fits the mode of all the other guys. They are ready to compete at this level, and they're unflappable.
32 wins now by all the Rockies rookies. I mean, that's kind of unthinkable when you really break it down. And then Antonio here at Coors Field, 7-2. So he's not worried about the Coors Field effect.
Yeah, we talked about that with German Marquez yesterday. We know what Kyle Freeland did in his last start at Coors Field. So it'll be Senzatella tonight. When we come back, a new chapter for Trevor Story. Talk about Trevor when we return.